Call the meeting to order.
Right,
Rise and say the pledge.
all right.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Adam Lingler is on.
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Adam,
Okay, so the first item on reports is the fiscal year to date tax revenue and expenditure report for the 1 and 5 months ended 8/31/25. So these are the financials through August of 31st, 42% of the year of the fiscal year. I don't have any concerns with any. Nothing looks concerning, it's probably the better way to say that. We did have a budget amendment from the original budget that was proposed to reallocate administrative fees that were originally budgeted for the sales tax fund. They got reallocated to the parks, pathways, pets, and police cost centers. So they aren't shown in use tax funds specifically. They are now in those other funds. So that number has changed since the original budget was approved. And then we did have a couple questions from Jake and Smith that were sent ahead of the meeting. And he asked about use tax revenues appear to be up. Do we expect that to continue? I see use tax fluctuate every month. So although we are better than we had anticipated to be at this time of year, we don't have a crystal ball. It looks good. We hope it stays good. But no real way to know, is that trend going to continue? We can only hope.
Well, the World Cup's coming.
Next
I'm looking
next
at
fiscal
that.
year.
Yeah.
That will be
Okay.
next fiscal year.
That would be nice.
Yeah. He also asked a question about the public safety and animal control amounts, and was concerned a little bit that public safety seems to be a little bit high. Those amounts are allocated to the use tax based on those employees' actual salaries and benefits. And so public safety has been incurring some overtime lately or through this year, mostly due to training. They've had some additional time spent with training. They've done some tactical team training, which the chief feels is really important for them to do as teams that are going to go out and to improve safety for everyone, themselves and the citizens. So that is, again, it's totally based on actual.
so is that tied into just two specific positions then?
Yeah,
Okay.
I pull those two specific positions out every month and then transfer those.
So do you see this as something that's annually going to happen, benefits and salaries? I understand training is ongoing as you receive new staff, but benefits and salaries.
Training is ongoing for all staff.
Right.
In police. In fact, some of them are doing training this week. But benefits and salaries, yes, will always change, increase. For use tax, it's based on two specific employees. And then if one of those employees were to leave, they then get replaced in the use tax allocation by the new employee that gets hired for that similar position. And so, yeah, it's their actual salary and the benefits associated with that employee that get assigned to the use tax fund.
Okay.
Did anybody else have any other questions?
Oh, yes, I do actually. So when you were talking about the administrative fees, I didn't quite follow. So you're saying they're not going to be listed out separately going forward? They're
The
going to be in.
original budget
Mhm.
allocate. The way the original budget allocated them was based on revenues, and then there was concern about that. And so it was decided that the administrative fees would get allocated to the cost centers where those costs actually were incurred as opposed to inside the use.
Okay, I got you. Okay, that makes sense.
Any other questions?
The next page, there are 4 projects I listed, from use tax funding approved by the Board of Aldermen for our fiscal 26 budget. First one is Hall Park, the Hall Park project. Basically, all we have right now is the design, that has been, through Verio. The project costs to date are $41,885.17. We did have to send in a reimbursement request from the bills that we paid Verio, and we have since received that. I sent that in August 18th, but we have since received a $20,942.59 reimbursement because this Hall Park is on a 50/50 grant. So we have received that. And we hope to hear back from MoDOT on our drop inlet so we can start going out for bid, because we're just waiting on them as a holdup. And then we'll do our bid notices and things of that nature and start going out for bid so we can get that project kicked off. Have any questions on that one?
So all we're waiting for then is I'm confused. What are we waiting for before we start? Are we waiting for?
There's a drop inlet for stormwater runoff. And it's on MoDOT state highway. And we sent everything in, and this has been ongoing since April. And we want to get the project rolling as much as anybody does. And they're calling MoDOT on a weekly basis to say, what's the holdup? What's the holdup?
And do we get a response?
No, we have not gotten any response, but I've talked with our MoDOT guru, Shelley, and we think we've got a plan that we can get this taken care of, and so we can get the final answer, final approval, because the water runoff, what we have submitted to them is way lower than their standard, so there shouldn't be a problem. So we don't know exactly what the holdup is.
Thank you.
Our Lions Park improvements, the Foreign Place playground surfacing is complete. We added a new top layer to Lions Park in May of 2025 due to a seam that we didn't feel was up to our standards. And they came in May and took out a bunch of it and put a whole new top layer on that. And that was a budget carryover from last year. So we did get them paid as of now. So that is complete. The actual costs were $161,529, which came in much lower than our budgeted.
Yeah. So what happens to the difference? That you came under budget.
It went to pay these items C.
Which
Okay,
I will tell you, our Lions Park, the second part of our Lions Park improvements was our dechlorination system, which we needed to do because of our splash park water running into the creek. We had to make sure it's the chlorine is taken out of that. So we put in a new dechlorination system, riprap, and then we also purchased our movie projector system for our movies in the park. Everything is done except the final, area of Bear Creek, which we will, riprap this fall. And then that, total project will be done, and we will be under budget on that as well. Total cost to date, is $13,381. And finally, Mac Quarter Park improvements, that is complete. We installed 3 new steel doors for our bathroom and chase room building. The original installation of that building was in 2004, and we needed new doors, and that was $5,115, and that was completed prior to our spring baseball and softball games out at Mac.
So C and D was basically added with the savings that you had on B though.
Correct.
So looking forward is like, what are the next plans?
Hopefully we can get some grant money, because I would really like to do the surfacing out at Jesse James Park, at our largest playground that's been there since 2007. And we think that hopefully we can get a grant, and a 50-50 grant, and I'm meeting with the Lions Club tomorrow to see if Lions Club International will help fund that project, and I will be putting that in the budget if that does come to, hopefully that will get approved. That's a big project. We've had nothing but great feedback from the new playgrounds, both at Lions Park and Mac Quarter Park. And we want to do that with that project as well.
I had forwarded you an email.
Mm-hmm.
Was there any interest in that? Anything that we could get from that grant? They were saying that opportunity for communities.
There is, and I was down at Orlando, and it's grants.gov that I've been looking for things like that to see if that will be also included along with the Hall Park, where we're trying to get some playground funding as well.
Yeah.
I should say fitness equipment funding.
Okay.
What, can you turn the presentation? Yeah.
Gotta share your screen.
We did.
It's not being shared right now. Right, the green,
Green arrow, there you
there you go. And then say share. Yay.
Got it undone. All right, good evening, committee members. I'm glad to see you all. And for those who do not know me, I'm Shelley Daniel, the Public Works Director. I'm looking forward to walking you through the latest updates with the Pathways projects. We do have some exciting updates to share since the last meeting, and I'm ready to answer any questions at the end of the presentation.
Okay.
On the screen, and also included in the handouts, is the use tax pathways map. This was our voter approved map that shows 14 initial pathways projects. We did add the last 2 projects at the last meeting for the Lions Park crossing and the Meadowbrook crosswalk. During this presentation, I will be providing updates on all these projects. First, sorry, Stephanie. Sorry, I'm sorry, it's my fault. First, the completed projects. Project A and B on the map at the bottom, there's a legend, were completed in 2022. And Project J, which is a connection at the Dovecot subdivision on school property, was completed last summer in 2024. So all those projects have been open to the public. The remaining 11 projects are all in progress. The citizens are anxious to have all these projects identified on this map completed and available for public use. The use tax generates revenue over time, but to accelerate the completion of these projects, the city applied for federal and state grants and received a private donation to accelerate construction. The remaining 11 projects are broken up into 5 different contracts/projects, as shown on the screen here and on the following slide. So it gets a little confusing because all of them are pathways, but they all are kind of grouped and they all kind of have their own unique project name. On the next slide. Are the other ones. So next, I'm going to talk about each one of these in more detail.
Okay.
The first one is the Pathways, Gaps, and Crossings project. This project was designed by Olson, and in May of 2025, the city received 1 bid, and it was over 234% over budget. The Board of Aldermen rejected the single bid in the interest of being fiscally responsible and then directed staff to explore a phased implementation strategy to deliver the same projects in the contract we put out for bid while still having a cost-effective approach. The city requested a quote from McConnell and Associates for projects E, G, H, and N. So there's some gap projects. There's short little gap projects on North Grove Street, and Stone Lake Drive, and on Stonecrest Drive, and then the Meadowbrook Drive trail crossing upgrade. The quote was accepted by the Board of Aldermen on July 7th, and the approximate cost to fill in the 3 sidewalk gaps and to upgrade the Meadowbrook Drive crossing to meet ADA standards was $200,000. McConnell began work last Monday, September 15th, and they have already completed the Meadowbrook Drive work, and they're currently constructing the sidewalks on Stone Lake Drive this week. And after that, they will fill in the gaps on Stonecrest Drive and on North Grove Street. Also, last week, the city hired Heartland Traffic Services to install a rapid flashing beacon at the Meadowbrook Drive trail crossing. The approximate cost just to install the flashing beacon at this location is about $16,000. And it was made possible by a combination of a $10,000 safety grant, use tax money, and some of our transportation sales tax funds. The flashing beacon will be installed this fall, and I'm just waiting on them to give me the schedule. Next. I'm sorry. Could you flip to, I'm sorry, another slide and another. And then that's where we're at, sorry. Next, Lions Park Crossing, which is Project M. The Lions Park Crossing on Route 33 was originally included in that Pathways, Gaps, and Crossings project that was rejected due to excessive bids. The work is solely on the Missouri Department of Transportation's property, which requires a MoDOT permit and the use of their standards for construction, which exceed the city's minimum standards, making this a more complex project. The city was recently notified that MoDOT planned to resurface Route 33 next year. So I requested that they add this work into their contract if we paid for it. After much discussion and some redesign work, they agreed. Their project goes out to bid soon, and if the bids are reasonable and within our budget, the city will provide bid concurrence for the crossing, and MoDOT's contractor will construct it next year after they resurface the road. Which is good news, because otherwise we would have built it and they would have tore up all our striping.
Right.
And they have wasted tax dollars.
Yeah.
So some of the features of this crossing include a rapid flashing beacon, a pedestrian refuge island in the center, turn lane. And we are remaining hopeful that we'll get decent bids, but if they do not, we will continue to pursue options to get this constructed. The total estimated project cost is around $80,000. Additionally, at this project, we received a private donation from the adjacent property owner to help with the cost of construction.
Next. The Mac Porter Park Connector Trail. The Mac Porter Park Connector Trail, which includes projects D and K on the map, will connect the existing trail in Mac Porter Park, which is shown on the top left corner of the screen, to Route 33, and then continue east and connect to Jessie Street. Olson is our consultant, and the project is currently in the design and right-of-way acquisition phase. We have already acquired 2 of the 5 properties needed to build the trail. The total estimated project cost is $1.2 million. And on the spreadsheet, there was a question by Jake about the funding gap. And that is due to just normal inflationary and construction cost increases. And next year, when we put in our budget request, we'll just request that additional fund for that if we need it, if we have our bid shut. The next picture is also for the Mac Porter Park Connector Trail, which was a rendering from the public meeting. Key features of this trail will be a new Route 33 pedestrian crossing to connect to the senior center, complete with a rapid flashing beacon for improved safety, a protected path under I-35 that is located on the north side of the bridge columns, and a sidewalk on the west side of Route 33 from the senior center to connect to the existing sidewalk just to the south by Oak Point.
I think that's.
Oak Point.
Senior apartments.
Senior apartments.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it. I'm sorry. Construction is anticipated to start in next year in 2026. Next. Next is the 19th Street crossings, which is Project L. It is a highly anticipated improvement, and it originally was included in the Pathways, Gaps, and Crossing project that was projected due to excessive bids. But since we've, well, I'm going to tell you more, but since we started the original design, we have received a grant. So there are 3 existing pedestrian and or trail crossings on 19th Street located at Stone Lake Drive near the pickleball courts, at Meadow Lane Street by Hawthorne Ball Fields, and the Fishing River Trail near the railroad tracks. The city is working on the 19th Street Complete Street project, and all 3 of these crossings will be constructed when we do the 19th Street Complete Street project. The city was successful in securing a surface transportation block grant from Mid-America Regional Council for $4.2 million and a cost share from MoDOT for $1.25 million. We are currently in the design phase and hope to be moving into right-of-way acquisition phase soon. This project includes several pedestrian and bicycle features, including the reconstruction of sections of the existing trail, ADA upgrades, new on-street bike lanes, new sidewalks, and trail maintenance. So if we were to build any of the flashers or anything right now, we would just be tearing them out and redoing them in a few years. So we decided on that project, since we weren't able to get it because of high bids, that we're going to wait, just do it one time when we do it on 19th, not to waste money. Next, Pathways. Another very highly anticipated project is for the Route 92, Route 33, and especially for the Regency Drive sidewalks, which are projects C, F, and I on the use tax map. The city was recently awarded a transportation alternatives grant for a maximum award of $1.5 million. The estimated total project cost for just these 3 sidewalks is around $3 million. This week, Olson Incorporated was selected for design services, and we will be starting contract negotiations with them soon. Since 2 of the sidewalks are on MoDOT property and it's a federally funded project, it will require a lot of coordination and time to gain necessary approvals. One of Jake's questions was about getting property from people on Regency Drive. You can't do that until you receive like an acquisition date from MoDOT. So that's quite a ways away. So we're just now starting the project. So we are anticipating the earliest construction date would be in calendar year 2028. So. If on the screen, it's only a design concept, but, this is on Route 92. This showing how we would connect Porter Ridge Drive to Clear Creek Drive on the south side of 92. Next, this concept is on Route 33. Just showing how just north of Dollar General, how you may connect down to West Major Street on the west side of Route 33. Kind of turn your head if you think north, but. And then Regency Drive, a lot of driveways you can see in blue, a lot of trees, a lot of work in people's front yards. So this concept shows the sidewalk being constructed on the west side of Regency Drive, connecting to the existing sidewalk to the north down to 19th Street. However, during design, one of the phases is always to do a conceptual study to figure out what makes sense, and there's public involvement. You also have to take into account after you have a public meeting, what feedback we get from the public. Next, once the use tax maps is completed, some ask what's next for pathways. Well, the city has secured a Planning Sustainable Places grant from Mid-America Regional Council for the Connected Kearney Plan. The key goals of this Connected Kearney Plan include citywide connectivity, like developing a bike ped improvement plan and a long-term connectivity strategy to link all areas of the community, making travel accessible and convenient for everyone. So that could mean like from how do our trails connect, or it could be in a neighborhood where maybe an older neighborhood does not have existing sidewalks like Regency Drive or Southbrook Parkway. The study also includes downtown improvements, just identifying and prioritizing enhancements to transform our downtown into a thriving, sustainable, welcoming destination. A lot of this is transportation related, so it's to consider all modes, like people who walk, people who ride bikes, people who drive to downtown. And then the third goal of the study was to create an inventory of our existing sidewalk and trail. And that's already completed. The Connected Kearney Plan will help inform and prioritize future pathways investments, whether it be a sidewalk or trail maintenance, improving connectivity, enhancing crossings, adding bike lanes or routes, pedestrian safety, complete streets, or filling in neighborhood gaps. We are planning for a more connected community, one where residents of all ages and abilities can move safely and seamlessly through our city. Good job. There will be several public meetings as part of our Connected Kearney Planning Study. We've already had our first public meeting. It was very well attended. There's some pictures here on screen. We're doing a pop-up event. We will have a table at Oktoberfest. So there'll be about 6 hours we have for public to engage, to fill out the public survey or provide feedback. And we do have an active public survey going on right now, both for, there's 2 surveys, one's for like downtown and one's for sidewalks. I've got the QR code on the screen. But if you go on our website under our news, there's a whole bunch more information about the study. And we've been providing frequent social media updates as well on our different social media channels. And the survey will close on October 5th. We also received a couple more questions from Jake I may not have covered. One was about the Kearney's pathway, the Route 33, 92 Regency, about breaking out the cost. During my presentation, I talked about cost for all the pathways. However, on that one, I do not have each one of those broken out individually because it is considered in our grant one project, not 3 separate projects. However, as we get further in design, the consultant will have things broke out by location. So I do know for sure the most expensive sidewalk to construct on the map is the Route 92. He had mentioned a comment in his email about priorities. However, all the sidewalks on the use tax map were commitments to Kearney residents, and they all have to be built. So we consider them all important and equally, even the ones that cost more than others. Next, regarding trail maintenance, currently our city crews are going to just continue to patch and seal our trails as we have money allowed in our budget. For sidewalks, this year we have made a very concerted effort to do a lot of sidewalk replacements with the budget we have with our transportation crew. And most of the work we've done has been focused around the areas we overlaid this year. And we plan on to continue to do that every year. We have people that are very trained on replacing sidewalks. Additionally, this fall, we're going to apply for a recreational trail program grant to help with restoration of our existing trails. That grant is capped at $250,000, and I've heard it's very competitive. And I'm not sure. I've also heard this kind of through the grapevine that maybe trail maintenance isn't as popular as a new trail, but we are going to try and see how we score on that. And other than those two questions, if there's, if I just open it up to see if any of the existing committee, anybody who's here have any questions.
I do. I want to start with the North Jefferson, I guess it's the sidewalk, but I'm not clear. Is it going to go to the senior center?
Yes.
So it will, because that was not mentioned. I want to make sure that the
Well,
picture, it wasn't clear to me, but yes, it is. Good.
well, look, there's two projects, Marie. One project is Mac Porter Park,
Right,
and it will start at the senior center and go down and continue where through the senior apartments to Dollar General parking lot. So that'll get built next year.
okay,
And then the North Jefferson project
right,
will pick up at the north side of the Dollar General parking lot and go down to West Major Street.
and that's where the senior park is gonna be off. Is it
Oh, that's-
major? Is it?
They're talking about Route 92.
Yeah, I guess I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, Route 92, there's already a sidewalk.
But only on one side of this, of 92. There's
Yeah.
not sidewalk on both sides.
No, there's not gonna be a sidewalk on the south side of 92 at that location.
Okay. So how is the seniors gonna get from the senior center to the park? Can they still walk? I don't understand that there's gonna be a sidewalk that they can walk physically from the apartments.
There's a lot of
The one that's next to the Dollar General. You have that sidewalk, you said you're gonna extend it from there. So I'm picturing this in my mind. So they're gonna go out. Well, you know where Jim Eldridge lived. There's no sidewalk there.
That's where we're adding one.
Right, you're gonna add one there, and then you can continue on, because there is a sidewalk after
Mhm.
that point. And then I'm gonna go up Washington
Then you're gonna keep walking down
Down
92,
to,
and then you're gonna go east towards Excelsior on the north side of 92 to Lions or to the Hall Park.
okay.
Yeah, because there's a sidewalk on the north side of 92.
I was just going the other way. I was going down Washington and gonna make my way that way. And that's the long way instead of 92. Okay, makes sense. The other question is the turn lane on, I wanted a turn lane on off of 33 and 19th Street. Because if traffic backs up, I didn't hear anything about a turn lane going on to 19th Street if you're turning right and these drivers are waiting for the light so they can go on down. Is that not gonna happen, or did I miss that?
Since we're mostly talking about use tax, that's not a
Right.
use tax project, the 19th Complete Street, only the crossings are
Okay,
use tax projects. So that's why I only spoke about those.
okay,
But on the 19th Complete Street project, it does include adding right turn lanes in all four directions.
great,
But not with use tax.
right, okay, I'm with you. Let's see. It's under C, completing the survey. You said it closes on October the 5th. I know I got the survey in my email. So are we keeping track of that? Is it? Are people filling out the survey? Are you getting a lot of feedback from what they want to see, what they want to happen?
So after the first, GBA, is hosting the survey.
Yes.
We'll get the results. There has been quite a few survey people, have commented more
Uh-huh.
towards the downtown than on the sidewalks. But there's quite a few comments.
Okay,
And I'm meeting with them tomorrow, and so I would have a better idea on how many comments. But we originally were gonna close it before Oktoberfest, but we decided to keep it open until after, so people could also do it. We'll have iPads at Oktoberfest, where
okay.
people could do it live right there.
And then will you meet with those that are collecting this survey for the city? Are you working with them twice? Once with what's being accumulated now and then again after Oktoberfest?
We're talking about with the consultant.
Yes,
So like you're on the steering committee.
uh-huh,
We're gonna have a steering, after the survey closes, we're gonna meet with the steering committee and discuss the survey results with the
Okay.
committee. And some ideas they have, like proposed solutions.
okay,
And then we go back out for another public meeting and share that same information with the public after we bounce it off the steering committee.
okay.
Yep.
Lots of survey going on.
Yeah.
That's all I had. So thank you.
That's
Thank you.
Thank you for asking questions. Any more questions?
Thanks. The presentation was really clear. Thank you.
And thank you for saying questions afterwards. Cause you know, I'm always writing in the bit. Write them down. I appreciate that. Okay. So what else do we got here?
I shouldn't say randomly selected, but I am just put on here a proposed next meeting date
Mhm.
of Wednesday, March 11th. I saw, looking through prior agendas, it sometimes bounced between Wednesday and Thursday. It looked like at the last or a couple meetings ago, you decided Wednesday. So I went with Wednesday and I tried to miss spring break. Those were my only two criteria in picking a date. So if that date works for everybody, we will schedule that as our next meeting.
Okay.
Works for me.
Yeah, it should be far enough out that
Shouldn't be any,
Yeah.
not overbooking.
Okay, we'll use that as the next meeting date. Any community member comments?
Very well done, very organized. I appreciate that. You respect my time. I do appreciate that.
and it's nice to have a timeline with a lot of those too. So
Yes,
Great.
so we're gonna hold you to that.
We're anticipated, expected.
There you go, there you go.
Working with MoDOT.
Amen, amen. You'll second that, right?
Yes, I would.
Not easy to work with. I've been trying to get them to mow grass on 69 and 33. When you're going down 69, there's a light and the grass is so high, you really had to push yourself out in the intersection so you can see if the cars are coming. They still haven't mowed it. I know they're overbooked.
Yeah.
Do you want to make a motion?
anything else?
No, sir.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. Adjourned. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.